Welcome to 23634 Woodhaven Place in Auburn, California, Lake of the Pines. Folks are pouring into our backyard. We have Lisa Lane and Marianne Topping as the official greeters as folks are walking to the Sundown Solos concert. We have 4 performers: Bob Jenkins, we have Marita Dossi, Brian Conroy, and Nick Foster. Everyone is coming to the backyard probably 30 to 45 minutes early, trying to set up their chairs, grab a little bit of shade, and have their drinks and snacks as they're visiting their neighbors, their friends, some of their family members, all here for a good time. Yes, our goal is to keep live music alive at Lake of the Pines. We do have a beautiful setting on Shadow Cove, a gazebo and a stage, lots of speakers for our performers, and we are looking forward to a very fun evening. Now, our concert normally goes for an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes. This is the first concert of 2023. We invite a number of our friends, neighbors, family members, some of my clients to come and enjoy the live music on Shadow Cove. The weather was perfect. It was just under 80 degrees. With a slight breeze. It was just perfect situation. Here I am as the host of Sundown Solos and the MC of the evening. There are some of the musicians that are kind of tucking themselves away by the fishing hut, keeping themselves in the shade and keeping themselves cool before they go on to the sunny stage to perform. Now, our first performer, Amrita Dossi, delighted us with her strumming of the tambura and her wonderful voice that floated along the air and just made Shadow Cove magical. Rita was trained classically for 14 years and grew up in a large singing community. She has sung internationally and has performed in 73 different countries. Now, her first song was in Sanskrit, and when she sang that, even though it was a different language, it was meditative and peaceful and just pulled the whole audience in. Her second song, Bob Jenkins and Carmen Rita collaborated together and they sang the Leonard Cohen song, Suzanne. Their voices just meshed beautifully together and they sounded wonderful together. Now, I had a question for the folks, and the question was, which one of these 4 performers this evening has performed with George Harrison, played and sung with him? And I posed that question to our audience and then said at the end of the show, we'll find out who was that person who had that wonderful experience with George Harrison. Our second performer was Brian Conroy. Now, Brian is back for a second time. He was well received last year as he has been received this year. He performed 4 songs for us, and the toes were tapping, and the people were clapping, and they enjoyed Brian's performance very, very much. In fact, we are going to have a toe tapping section of this video where you can hear the different songs and watch the tapping that was going on in the audience. We had just about 100 people that evening on the Sundown Solos. The last song that Brian sang was with Bob, And they, in fact, have known each other for about 50 years. What a friendship to be able to share music together with each other. The next performer was Bob Jenkins, my favorite musician. Bob sang the songs Ships. That's a beautiful, poignant song about two older people meeting each other at a casino, and their ships come in and their relationship starts to blossom. It was a charming, charming song. Bob also sang My Sweet Lord as one of the songs, which happened to be a George Harrison song. And in the Cove, we had two visiting boats that kept focused on the evening and enjoyed the music. We have plenty of speakers and all kinds of equipment that our friends who lived across the Cove could hear every word from our musicians that evening of sundown solos. You can catch Bob Jenkins performing every week at the Club Car. There's an open mic at that Auburn restaurant in downtown Auburn called the Club Car. Bob is there between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock every Thursday evening. It's a lot of fun to see different kinds of musicians performing 3 songs. Seeing them grow and develop and experiment with their music is really a nice setting, and the restaurant has some good food to enjoy besides listening to the music. Now the next presenter is Nick Foster. In fact, we met Nick at Club Car because Nick is one of the hosts that run the open mic at Club Car in Auburn. Nick is a local musician. He has a band called Manzanita. You might recognize him because the Manzanita Band has performed at Lake of the Pines at the clubhouse for us 2 different times this year. Nick is a fun guy to listen to. He has 3 of the 4 songs were original. One of them is called Foothill Boy. The Foothill Boy story is about Nick's life in the Sierra foothills. Also, he has a favorite song about his favorite motorcycle. And the last song that is my favorite is the one that Nick sings called Bear River. It's a beautiful rendition of how beautiful and valuable our Bear River is. It's very peaceful, clever, and just a nice country feel to the song Bear River that Nick sings for us. So we have a good turnout of 100 people, lots of joy, and here's the tapping. It just ain't right so I know we're gonna get there, and I'm looking down like a train wreck. I know we're gonna get there. Throw me out on a big train around my neck, and I'm looking down like a train wreck. I know we're gonna get Manzanita, bigger pine, black-tailed deer, and mountain lion. Watch your step, there's lots of poison oak. I picked her up past the door. Hey, I saw the ad. When I twist that road, oh, it takes me back way off the beaten path to the pony road. Hey, I know that kid will take me back over. I hope you enjoyed the tapping, the head nod and knocking, and the clapping that was going on during our performances. We are so excited to keep live music alive at Lake of the Pines. We thank our audience for being great audience members and for honoring our musicians that do bring their A game to our backyard. Now it's coming to a close, and the question is, who sang and played with George Harrison? So during curtain call, we brought up all of the musicians. Oh, and we thanked Fred Freeberg. He is our musical guru in the back, keeping our sound system all balanced, and we took a moment to thank Fred Freeberg. So we're just about to get everybody up for curtain call, and during the curtain call, I asked the question, who played with George? So we pointed at Brian Conway, and we did get some applause that Brian is a spiritual dude and he might have played with George. Of course, we pointed out Nick Foster, and no one selected Nick Foster. He's the country boy. We had Carmelita Dossi, and some folks voted for her, and then some folks voted for Bob. And Carmelita Dossi is the one who has played with George Harrison. So if you selected her, of course, you would be in the know. Of course, when I asked the whole audience who was right, everybody raised their hands, whether they were right or not. It was a very enjoyable evening. The vibes were good. The energy was good. The weather was good. The music was great. The audience was great. It was just a joyful time, and we are so grateful that you participated with us at Sundown Solo's concert in the Jenkins backyard. Now, in a little bit, we will be posting our live videos of a medley of those songs that were performed that night. And we'll keep you posted on that so you can enjoy them again. Thank you for joining me. I'm CJ Jenkins.